Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views. Time is 8:55 a.m. Central African Time. And our top story this morning takes us to Johannesburg water crisis, which doesn't look like it's incoming. It doesn't look like it's something that's in the future or a future threat. It's a reality. Large parts of the city are already living without reliable tap water. And I'm speaking to you right now at our offices in the south of Johannesburg. The taps are dry, and in a lot of suburbs across Gauteng, whether it's in Kensington, Marantia, Maldene, parts of Midrand, and in some townships also, Ivory Park, parts of Soweto, Alexander. Residents have gone days, in some cases even weeks, with little to no supply of water, forcing long queues at tankers, neighborhoods rationing, and mounting social strain. Civil society groups now warn that Johannesburg is experiencing day zero conditions right now, even without a dramatic countdown clock. The crisis is driven by aging infrastructure, supply constraints, and high demand, and it's intersecting with broader frustrations over service delivery and accountability in local government, especially. And to help us unpack what's happening and what needs to be done, are there mitigating factors that can be put in place to make sure that we don't go over the edge if we're not already past that point? We'll be speaking to Farah Domingo, spokesperson and founder of the Water Crisis Committee, a coalition of civic groups advocating for urgent action on water access and management. Farah, Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views.
Wa alaikum salam, Sabina. Shukran for having us.
No, the pleasure's all ours. I think we'll jump right into it. We can start, from the beginning. What does it mean when we say parts of Johannesburg are living under the proverbial day zero conditions? And how does that compare to, the dramatic day zero countdown that people remember from Cape Town when there was that drought? Is there a distinction between the two and the factors that influence why taps are running dry?
Sure. So when we say day zero is looming, it's mostly because the supply has been with Rand Water. There was an issue at one of their pumping stations. There was an explosion, and they didn't communicate to anybody. So Joburg Water was still pumping at the reservoirs as normal, and then all of a sudden the reservoirs were closed because there wasn't sufficient supply coming in from Rand Water. And only 2 Mondays ago, I can't remember the date, did they notify us, and they said that they were going to be fixing the exploded pump, which they did. And then, we're so used to this. We've been doing this since 2023, and so we know that when there's a water supply issue, it takes a few days for the system to recover. And unfortunately, we're still waiting for the system to recover. There hasn't been an improvement in most areas. Like you said earlier, the people on the West Rand, they haven't had water for 3 weeks. Fortunately, in Joburg East, we've at least had a few days of water, and that's been intermittent, where the reservoirs are closed at night in order to build up some pressure. And it's generally every 36 hours that the reservoir is opened. And then unfortunately, Rand Water wasn't pumping enough water into the system because they put out a statement that the municipalities weren't paying them, so they were going to be throttling those specific municipalities. And we're sitting now specifically in Joburg East, where we represent everybody in Johannesburg that's willing, to join us. But specifically in Johannesburg East, we've got areas that haven't had water for 5 days. And we're not getting very much communication from the parties like Rand Water and Johannesburg Water. Although I must say that since we started in 2023, the Water Crisis Committee has built some very good relationships with the management of Joburg Water, and we've even been included in the Region F WhatsApp group, where they provide us with updates for the Region F area and suburbs. So there has been improvement, but there's a lot more improvement could be made by both parties, Rand Water and Johannesburg Water.
There seems to be, a lot of confusion regarding Johannesburg Water and Rand Water and what each institution is supposed to be doing. From your understanding and your interaction with them, what's the distinction between the two, and which of the two institutions do you think is probably the main reason why Johannesburg is struggling with water, simplification and water management and infrastructure management issues?
So Rand Water is the supplier. They supply the municipalities like Johannesburg Water and the Joburg municipality. They receive the water from the various supply systems, and then they will clean the water and supply it through to Johannesburg. So Rand Water is doing their job to a point, except for what's happened now, where there was very little communication. But Rand Water only can allow municipalities certain volumes, and in most cases, Johannesburg goes over those volumes because in 25 years, Johannesburg has, if you look at the census results, Johannesburg has grown almost 80%. From 25 years ago in terms of citizens. And unfortunately, Joburg Water has not improved their infrastructure. They've not done maintenance. They've acknowledged this. They admit this. They haven't done maintenance on the infrastructure. In Johannesburg being such an old town, old city, with very, very old suburbs, they are battling. Unfortunately, Johannesburg Water, there's been lots of changes now, which we're hoping is very positive. But unfortunately, Johannesburg Water didn't have the finances in order to do those infrastructure repairs. They, in various meetings that we've had with them, where they have presented personally at the Water Forum, they need at least 2 billion a year to fix the infrastructure, and they just didn't have those funds. So that is why, with the throttling at night and with the lack of water, and when the water comes back, because of the pressure, lots of suburbs are experiencing leaks because the infrastructure is so old, and it needs a government to give them a huge input of funds, and that funds we've asked, WaterCan has asked, and the JCA, which we are affiliated to, we've all asked for the funds to be ring-fenced specifically for infrastructure repairs. But yes, so Rand Water and Joburg Water have two very different responsibilities, but the fact that Joburg Water has not done the maintenance that they should have done over the last 25 years, 20 years, which should have been a regular occurrence. They haven't done that, but they have acknowledged that, and they are working towards assisting the city in infrastructure improvements.
Lastly, before I let you go, Farah, what needs to happen now? What is there, solutions that can be presented to, the city of Johannesburg, to Joburg Water, to Rand Water, that can mitigate, the water crisis at this current moment? Obviously, the longer term vision would be a complete overhaul of their infrastructure. But in the short term, right now, are there any solutions that can be put into place that the residents of the city can, advocate for and rally behind?
So what we've put out, WaterCan and the Water Crisis Committee put out a media statement on Saturday. We would like the president to implement an immediate national government intervention, so that the water supply, to treat the supply collapse that and declare it as a disaster. Unlocking emergency capacity and funding. We require full public disclosure from Rand Water on the causes of the current bulk supply, the bulk supply drop, including technical, operational and contractual constraints. We require both Joburg Water and Rand Water to provide daily area-specific updates. Rand Water in terms of their supply to the Joburg Water's reservoirs, and then coordination of mechanisms enforced across national, provincial and municipal levels to ensure accountability. We are putting together a letter to the president so that he and we're hoping that he includes that in his speech on Thursday for the SONA. So we have provided multiple memorandums to the city in terms of how civil society can assist them. It's just a matter now of, having more regular meetings with the city and Joburg Water in order to implement these suggestions that we've made.
There we go, Farah Domingo, co-founder of the Water Crisis Committee. Jazakallah so much for joining us, and really, really appreciate the work that you guys are doing, and hope there'll be solutions inside. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
There we go. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, News and Views continues after this.